All right, guys, time for a little recap. Let's see how we did today. So right above me, you're going to see our future trading P&L, 2,600 bucks, 2599.68. So stellar day today. And as you see, we have a lot of ins and outs and orders there. So we're going to get a cook in here on as a recap and see how we did, why we did. So a lot of those were pre-market and a lot of the big hits and really catching every extension bounce down. And we'll go to the 1 minute for that. Let me get my draw tool for that. And we're literally just following trend, picking up the low sides. So we started in a gap up today, right? So we have this orange dotted line right here. This is where we topped out at the 10 SMA daily. And that's this light blue dashed line. And we obviously had yesterday's highs right here at that orange dashed line. So that gap right there we called needed to be filled. So I was actually short up here. So I went long this morning into the 10 SMA daily. Now this did miss a little bit here by pre. This always calculates, right? So as it opened up, it did lower a little bit into price action. So you wouldn't have seen it. This is why we always get in and out of our targets a little early, right? So we did call the short here from the 10 SMA down to yesterday's highs. And why did we call that? Why did we predict it? And why did that happen? Well, in the intraday, we had a whole lot of signals telling us that we had gaps all over. So I combined a lot of my tickers here on the charts. Let's see if you can see that. You can. Okay. So these combined tickers will give me an idea what's going on with FANG and save some chart space. So the only one, Amazon Googs here, we were filled right away. So yesterday's highs was hit on Amazon Googs. If I opened up the Apple Microsoft ticker here, we had missed the gap fill, and I said no longs until that gap has been filled on the combined ticker. So as you see again here, yesterday's highs, price action finally filled, right? And that's where you want to go long for yesterday's highs tag, thus closing the gap. Now, with that being said, we also had VIX, which was our great counterpart here, to micro gap up here in the morning, and it's still on its way to fill this 1 penny slot sliver that I'm not going to go over too much on. We said it was going to pop up most likely yesterday's highs, give a couple interesting reads, and trickle all the way back down near yesterday's lows is where the VIX is going to go, and then potentially continue. All eyes on NVIDIA Wednesday, Powell Friday. We'll have to see how those bring volatility to the market. But overall, the prediction video, which I will link in the description for our last video, is out, and I won't go into all that. So the day trades today. Again, we always use SPY to trade the futures, and we did 280 bucks on the small account challenge on Tasty, trading the options futures, and 2,600 on the large. Now, the first couple shorts here were just like we said, 10 SMA and all the way down to gap fill, and the rest were actually catching these deep dives into the lows, picking up extension plays, and this was purely off the 1 minute chart. So let's get into that. Now, the 1 minute chart right here, every time that we had seen a pressed extension and divergence in the oscillation indicators, we just went long. That was it. I wish there was something harder to play, but our first one that we had done, we had shorted here all the way down to gap fill. I was out already at the early open, and I did not want to chase, right? So if our targeting short was here and we were all the way down, opening near here, I didn't want to chase an already 10-point drive down from the top and then only have, a few points down the bottom. So we wait and we flip biased, waiting for the long positional move. So let's take a look at our oscillation indicators here. And again, this is the 1 minute chart, a little quicker of the time frame. As it came down into deviation center, yesterday's close, I had a bunch of fishing orders right here. For this one, looking for the confirmational reset and cross back up. Now, the 5 minute was not set for a reversal until way later in the day. This is purely just 1 minute scalps, and I'll go over that in a second with the MAC 5 minute and how we narrated that in chat. So as we came to this, we had picked up this bottom, ran it up, and you can see all those little tiny fills from the first a little bit. I'm taking 4 to 5, 4 to 3 ES contracts, getting 3 to 500 each little scalp. I had a beautiful one right here, came back up towards 50 VWAP, got out of that one on the squeak, long out. Same thing here. I waited for pre-market low, pre-market open. That's where I said the next one would be. You can look at your oscillation indicators here and watch these crosses here. Here and here, baseline on the MAC, right? Showing divergence of a nice base. RSI showing nice divergence of base, price action going, fresh lows. So I'm going to buy into this cool on the RSI. I'm going to buy into this micro, a little higher, little double bottom area on the MAC, and I'm going to assume we're going to get a small relief back up to moving averages, right? So the long here, out, long here, out, were a couple of the nice big ones. And then as it came into this consolidation, it actually had a couple of hidden features for us in the volume on both sides. So it's going to go to the 5 minute on this little consolidation zone that I want to take you guys through here real fast. I want you guys to note something on the 5 minute, that on our volume beat system and how we use our elites, the volume and sellers are in control here, okay? No matter what. So those pops we're going to get sold into. We were just longing bottoms, taking a couple point scalp, getting out of the way, right? But the 5 minute also gave you good divergence. And like I said before, those crosses on the MAC were signals to buy those dips and get those scalps. And then of course the divergence on this higher low and this higher low on that MAC were both leading you up to accumulating long play moves. So if you were buying down here on all these little dips, you had RSI divergence, you had the higher low, and you finally got the breakout right here. And all of those buy zones right here netted you a nice little pop. And of course, I don't think it's done. We're going to wait till Wednesday. We're still going to be macro bullish. Coming into the Friday, depending on which way you go on Friday for Jackson Hole, we'll have to see. We're not going to speculate too much on that. So back to the old 1 minute and the oscillation indicators and for the rest of the move. Now, they didn't have any confirmational tags of the 200. So I want to talk a little bit about this wash and a little bit about this consolidation. So this consolidation dipped, pushed back up. And now this is one of those really interesting ones where we got another cool. So this is, again, was another buy zone, right? Coming down into that cooling zone of the RSI, looking for a cross higher low, which was the secondary squeeze right here. But something to note, that these algos and these programs need absolute tags, especially in the 1 minute. And we're moving average traders a lot of the time here. And what I do is I look for back test and confirmation of the moving average. And if we don't get it, I look for it later on in the day because it will play out. It's only a matter of time. It's a magnet. So when price action here double topped on the 1 minute chart, it had broken through. Now, if you don't remember, the peach dash line right here is our 200 SMA 1 minute time frame. Notice the break right here never retraced to the 200 and gave us a confirmation for a short, right? Because we are confirmational traders. We never got it. So that beautiful big dump has to have a long target when the long appears, right? So when this long appeared right here, again, fresh low on day, right? Half deviation, which we had a lot of deviations that recalculate here, so I'm not going to go into too much, but deviation lows here. Overcooled, small sell wave on the TTM, and a fresh cross to that upside on a new low. That's an interesting one right there, but regardless, it's still a higher low from the prior. So this is still a higher low on the MAC on the 1 minute, and we did get a new fresh cross that we could see flying back up. Now, because that open never gave us a back-tested tag of this 200 SMA 1 minute, that's obviously going to be your target for long and short. So if you would have got it again, fresh low, ran it up, had a lot of confirmation there with RSI, TTM, cross, and ran it back up, where would your target be? Well, we already hit the 100 EMA here, so we don't need that magnet to work out anymore. And we've been extended for the first whole session of the morning. Now we're coming into the afternoon, and it usually gives a further pop into a stronger moving average on its later attempts. So on the first attempt, right, because moving averages have these magnets and have these connecting points. Look at the first attempt, the earliest of the early of the day. Read the moving averages here. Pushed 50 only, no tag of the 100. New low extension. Push back up, still failed the 100. No new low. Okay, we have a higher low. What do we got on the chart? Higher low, right? TTM, a lot of good oscillation there. And where is it going to go? Push, finally hits the 100 EMA. Finally, that's the next strongest moving average because we already did the 50. We shied the 100, boom, hit it. Boom, and new fresh extension all the way down to new low. And then when this new low came, where were we going to go? We already hit the 50. We already hit the 100. The next turn is the 200 SMA, right? And now this is where big consolidation happens, where we dry up in volume coming into that 1 o'clock central session. And that moving average tag right there was a beautiful turnaround. Not only did you have a really easy new low long fresh push, that you had a profit take and 200 SMA scalp where stuff was getting hot on the RSI, hot on the MAC, hot lower high in the TTM, looking for a small move down. It ended up being a big move down. So I don't know if I would have stayed in the entire move down there, but at least back down to that 50 SMA 1 minute from the 200 would have been a really beautiful scalp. Now, during this consolidation point, we said it was going to be a small red day staying inside range of prior candle. Okay, so if you back it up a little bit here on the 5-day 5 minute, you're going to notice yesterday's lows is right here. Yesterday's highs, where's the gap fill? Right here. So we were going to get a price action that was in range of the last candle, right? In between. And it's probably going to be red day. It's going to be a little bit of a sit. Why? Because we have NVIDIA tomorrow. And we don't have any other catalysts outside today besides a little bit of Fed speaks and tiny amount of data. So nothing crazy. So that was a heavy technical analysis day playout and why we looked for that. So leading into tomorrow, we're going to look at a couple other things now that the standard deviation 30/30 is trend down. We did shy that a little bit here from that 10 SMA. So let's take a peek at the 30/30. Now we have crosses here. We have really good support. Now notice again, though, we came from really deep support, and we talked about this as the short continuation, and the last time we did the long is the volume. Look at the volume starting to stack here. Here and here. That was divergence starting to play, hey, we're going to reverse soon. Keep an eye on it, right? And then we got the double bottom RSI here. Got the higher low MAC right here for confirmation. Small sell wave into buy. So there's a whole bunch of stuff 2 trade days ago saying the long bias coming up was going to be nice. Now, our 2 targets, because it shied, here's the 100 EMA. That's the daily representation, that hard green line right there, is a push point, and we shied it, and we came all the way up. So what's going to do? Well, I still think we're going to get close to that 50 SMA, which is going to be right here, close to that 445, and standard deviation center weekly, the regression trend, because we did tag the daily right here in the morning, and lost that, and then I came back down for another higher low. It's just on trend, right? So if you were to draw a simple trend line right here, and you can even fib out some of the stuff, I would fib out first red pullbacks here by the 200, and then I would pull them down from yesterday, or if you want a longer frame one, back down here. And I think both will work relatively well, so I'm going to take the longer standing frame from this top to pull back down for the fibs, and then you're going to want to watch for any kind of maintenance and any kind of price action hold above the 61.8 on this one, and anything above here is support, right? And we did kind of come into that little deviation area there. We are still in a downtrend, but we should be able to come back to the center regression trend way back up here 30/30. We're going to get over the 10 SMA hopefully tomorrow and continue movement into the long, into the 50 for the temporary, and that should be very reputable. Now, that's your goal for the next. Now, our target is still going to be maintained up here by the 50 SMA. The Fibonacci I just made from yesterday's highs to 2 prior ago lows is giving us a targetable at 444.46. So let's take that to the bank and watch for that. The only way this is going to work if we maintain above 440 and some pennies, okay? So right here, we're going to loop the 61.8. We're going to stay above the 100 fib we have right here. Anything above that coming into tomorrow is the 1618 attempt. Now, again, NVIDIA is going to be the catalyst for that. And if we see that running, or if this is just going to be a preemptive technical analysis, higher low play to a higher high, because you can see the price action, higher lowing, higher highing in sequence. So we will get to that. But if it does not plow up to that 50 here for tomorrow, which I'm hoping we get this relative move before NVIDIA hits its earnings and does whatever it wants to do. Of course, we're not in control of that because that thing has been going crazy. That is the trade plan. So again, anything above 437.40 outlook long, 440 recovery, which is confirmation of the 100 fib, and press 2 over 10 SMA into weekly deviation white level here, and 50 SMA daily red level right above it. So stay tuned for that play out, and we'll catch the next.